to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started in your fitness journey. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're starting your week off right. Hope y'all had a good weekend, safe weekend, and we're getting ready for the work week. We have another podcast episode for y'all today, and we have a guest joining us today. We have Mr. Scott Lackey, and I'm bringing him onto the screen now. So, Scott, first off, thank you for joining the podcast. We love getting guests on here to talk about certain topics and diving deeper on certain things, but to give you a gist of the podcast it's called the Fitness Beginner Podcast, and the whole idea is to help people get started on their fitness journey, kind of help motivate them, teach them the kind of the basics to get them going, to get them started, and then go from there. And then we have people on like you, and we'll dive deeper into different topics. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. If you would, just go ahead and let everybody know kind of who you are and what you do.
That sounds good. I appreciate that. Well, Murphy, I've been looking forward to this, and I love this topic because this is a journey I've been on personally, my whole life. And I'll go through, I guess, some scoreboard moments, and I'll end with my favorite one. But when you start talking about things that I've done in my life, I've been very accomplished in a lot of different things that I've been focused on. Starting out early in my life, being a combat veteran in the United States Army. I was in the 1st Desert Shield Desert Storm with the 1st Infantry Division called the Big Red One. College graduate with a degree in finance. I have been entrepreneurial. I've done startups. I've been in corporate America and everything in between. My second invention was a patented product that was funded by private equity for $3 million. Fast forward later in life, I've owned some other businesses that didn't go so well, and I got to see the bottom of the valley, as they say. And but I guess my favorite thing really to talk about athletically is not my time playing basketball or other things of that nature. It's really my Ironman races, the triathlons, and that's my passion. And I'm a newly published author with my book Wake Up to Die Again. Just went out 2 months ago. Number 2 bestseller, and number 1 new release. So I'm now an author to add to those scoreboard moments. And that's a little walk through history of different things in my life. I also publish a column every Saturday in a newspaper and talk about resilience, transformation, discipline, really the hard questions that life asks us, and we have to give an answer. That's what my column focuses on. And we may even come up with some of those today. So.
Awesome. I didn't even know they still put the newspaper out.
They do. Well, they're obviously more than anything, they're online, but the particular newspaper that I'm in has they publish twice a week, and of course I'm on the online version as well. Awesome.
So first off, you got some cool trophies. So thank you for your service in the military.
I appreciate
that. And I love the idea. I love that you did Ironman, because I've actually done Ironman myself. And
where did you do yours?
Panama City.
Panama City. I have not done that one.
It's Ironman, Florida, but yeah, it's in Panama City.
Yep.
Super. I highly recommend it. It was a good one. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to do another one at some point, but I haven't made my way around back to. I'm doing a different thing every year. So.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Diversity's good on that.
Yeah. So we'll get more into that as we go on the podcast, but I'll kind of tell you some of my adventures, because I got some. Mine are all fitness related, but I got some cool ones too. But yeah, so what kind of first sparked your interest into fitness or into personal development?
Yeah, actually, those are 2 different questions for me, because I started playing basketball early in my life in middle school, and I really fell in love with that sport and played through high school, and I could have played in college, but I chose to go in the military first before college. I went to the military first and then went to college. And of course, in the military, all about fitness. Again, went to college, and during college I played. I didn't continue my career playing basketball. I continued. I did play intramural basketball, but I'm just saying, at different things in my life, I've been involved in fitness. But what's interesting, about being interested in it, you can also get lazy and not be interested in it. And there was that period as well. And it was when I got older, and doing some things I shouldn't have been doing, like smoking. But I picked that up, little habit I picked up in the military, and you can do that when you're young and still work out, but it'll catch up with you, Mm-hmm. But that's really what got me into triathlons. I had always wanted to do triathlons ever since the first time I saw it, and so it was a weight gain that made me just really kind of snap, if you will, and say, I've had enough of this. Like so many people's story, you get to a point where you're sick of being sick. And I had that moment and started doing triathlons. And of course, the weight went by the wayside. And ever since doing that, I've really tried to focus on staying fit and staying involved in that. But it's been a part of my whole life. Fitness, I shouldn't say whole life, most of my life. There's been a few periods of time where I was not doing anything and regretted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy that how it has to get to that point to where you're finally like, okay, yeah, I got to do something about this. That's what we're trying to prevent. We don't want to get to that point.
I've never told this story. I don't think I didn't tell it in my book, and I haven't said it on a podcast yet. But I am interested in hearing other people's stories on when was that moment they were sick of being sick. And for me, I don't remember the date. I just remember it being December, and it was cold. And I was so pissed off at myself that I'd gained so much weight, right? That I literally put on a pair of sweats and gloves, and I just scrambled together this garbage. Drove, down the street to the local high school where my son was at, and parked in the parking lot. And I couldn't even run the square. You know what I mean? And I would just run to a certain line and stop and walk and catch my breath and run to another line. That's how pissed off I was. You know what I mean? And then you have this realization of, oh my God, how far is it that I'm going to have to go? All of that turmoil kind of lands on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny how different people operate because like you hit that point like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to change it right now. I'm going to do something about it. And then some people are the opposite. They're like, well, I'm already this far in. Might as well keep going, So you got to have the right attitude about it.
It always starts with attitude.
Oh, absolutely. So my story is a little different. I've never been overweight. I've always been very skinny. I was probably underweight for the most part.
Lean.
I started working out for sports in high school, and I immediately fell in love with it. Like when I put on some muscle, put on a little size, I gained some weight finally, and I saw how it helped me in my sports. Like I progressed very quickly in my sports, and I just immediately was hooked. I loved it, and I just did it ever since. I never quit. Like I don't know. I don't have a cool story like most people. It's whatever. Most people have like a really nice, like they were overweight. They lost the weight. They got in shape and they fell in love with it. But I don't know. I just have that. I was a teenager, got hooked on it, and I've done it ever since. And now I've just made it part of my lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd call mine a cool story as much as because I've always done stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And but I got away from it because I was involved in business and just life. And you just get away from it, man. You just wake up one day and you're 250 pounds, 6'4", 250, and I look at pictures of me now. By the way, comparatively speaking, like you're familiar with the TV show Duck Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
So I was down in Louisiana, and I went to the place where they film it at. This was back when the show was still on, and I have a picture of me standing in front of that building, and then another picture, a side-by-side picture of me in my triathlete uniform, one guy looks like he ate the other guy,
Yeah. So let's go back to your military service. What lessons from like your combat, from service, kind of influence you and how you approach your life today?
So I left the military with 3 words, and those words were taught to me by some of the greatest leaders I've ever had in the military, and that was make it happen. And when you think of those words, make it happen from an athletic perspective or a beginning fitness perspective, right? You can say it in other words. You can say no excuses, embrace the suck, get over yourself, stop crying. There's a lot of things you can say. Stop complaining. It's just make it happen. And that phrase has always stuck with me in business and in life. And my kids even joke about it. My son's 25 now, my daughter's 23, and every once in a while something will come up, and I guess I get this look on my face, and they'll look at me and they'll shrug their shoulders and they go, make it happen. I go, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, in the military, that was certainly a gift, but I can also tell you that make it happen will take you places you never intended on being, right? So you have to be careful with that. But to the audience that if you're in the beginning stages of your fitness journey, make it happen can be a really positive tool that you can use every single morning or every single night before you go to bed. It's amazing how we can go to bed at night so motivated about what we're going to do at 5 o'clock in the morning. But the second that alarm goes off and that voice jumps in and says, hey, man, hey, Scott, you don't have to get up today. I know you were motivated last night, but you've been doing so good, man. So good. Just sleep in today, get the rest you need, and maybe after work you can knock it out. I hate that voice. And we all battle that voice. But anyway, I just think that make it happen mentality from the military is a wonderful gift to yourself if you'll follow that. I mean, another way of saying it's discipline, of course. But I love the make it happen mentality. And it does mean breaking things sometimes. But I think that's a wonderful phrase that your listeners could dive into with themselves personally.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that like a Army slogan, or is that like just your?
No, that was a Scott Lackey slogan. Yep. Now, when there were many military slogans. Don't get me wrong. People use that in the military, right? If you came up to at least some of the leaders I worked for, and you were telling them about why something was broken or why this wouldn't connect or why that was over there, they didn't want to hear that crap. Go take the hill, right? There's an old saying, right? I feel sorry for the dumb bastards on top of the hill because we're coming up it. Right? And that's the make it happen mentality, is that one way or another, we are going to come through you, over you. So I wouldn't say it was a slogan, but it was a commonly used phrase, and it was meant literally, I don't care if you have to break something, go make something happen. And it's just a beautiful saying, man, if you dig into it.
Yeah, it really is, and it definitely applies to a fitness journey. So like you say, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go, hey, what you gonna do? You either gonna make it happen or you're not. You're gonna change. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Well, what sucks about that too is, of course I know this now, but at the time when I started running again, and I was like, why did you let yourself get so fat? What happened to you? What was the excuse anyway? Ultimately, what I concluded was I became very good at breaking my promises and not caring about it. And that's true of everybody. Every listener, I talk a lot about this in my book, about broken promises. Every listener can relate to this with something in their life right now that they've been promising themselves they're going to do, going to start, going to continue, going to renew, whatever. And they keep breaking that promise, and they've broken it so many times they're almost numb to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's a huge one. Doing what you say you're going to do. Like, if you make a promise, like that's huge. Telling yourself, if you make a promise, you have to follow through. Because if you don't follow through, you're going to stop believing in yourself, and then you're just going to let that.
Again, no matter how much you love what you're doing, you've had to become pretty good at not breaking your promises, or you wouldn't be on this podcast right now.
Yeah, I've experienced that with the podcast. When I first got started with it, it was hard for me to get going, but I finally figured out a process that works. So I'll make it happen.
Make it happen. I might have contaminated you now, Murphy. You're going to start using that around the gym.
Yeah, I like that. I like that slang. I love like slogans because they're always so like, you can always apply them to so many different areas. There's a bunch that I say a lot on the podcast, but I like that one. And that one's just simple, short and sweet, to the point. I like it.
Yeah, so the next time somebody gives you an excuse, just reply, make it happen.
I'll have to use that one for sure. So let's talk about your book. You said you wrote a book. What remind me the name of it again?
Wake Up to Die Again. I actually have a copy here. Where's the camera? There we go. Wake Up to Die Again. Breaking who you became so you can be who you're meant to be.
So let's dive into the book a little bit. What's the gist of the book?
Yeah, the gist of the book is that I write about life events, real life events that transform you. Okay? Yeah, the example, I'm going to say it this way. Those life events about transformation, they're also it's also stories that happen to all of us in our life where life asks us a question, and life doesn't change us, right? Life asks us a question, and the transformation that we go through comes from the answer that we give life. Okay? So, in other words, when you think of wake up to die again, you and I both have either been in this place or we know people who wake up every day just to die a little bit more because they're so miserable in life. We know those people. We've either been there or we know them. All right? Now, if you're on the other side of that, where I am, maybe where you are, is that to wake up and die again is a beautiful thing because I'm sacrificing the parts of me that no longer serve me and help me move forward. Okay? So that's the beauty of the wake up to die again mentality, is that there's 24 chapters, and I'm going to go through 24 unique real life stories. First of all, they're going to blow your mind as you read each one of these. I'll give you one example in a minute, but that's what's so transformative about this book, that when people read it, I don't tell you there's 7 steps to fix anything because I think that's nonsense. But what I am going to do is talk about a lot of tools that you can use in your own journey, in your own battles, that will help you in your life. A quick story I was going to tell you, just to give you an example. This is early in the book. I talk about that invention, that second invention I told you about. They got funded for $3 million. But I also tell you the story of how 6 months later, after that private equity firm invested, they fired me and the management team and stole the company. You want to talk about a transformation in life? Have your invention, your patented invention that you have all of your life savings into, invested in, mountain high, you've hit the American dream, you've hit the financial lottery, and 6 months later they destroy you and you have nothing left. You go home to your pregnant wife and your 2.5-year-old son and tell them that the house you're living in right now is in a ghost town. So that's yeah, it is. Not now. Now I think about all the lessons that I learned from that, and I love what I learned from that. I was given some extraordinary gifts. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's just one chapter in the book. So when I tell you there are some very dramatic events in the book, that's just one chapter. But again, I don't want to overstate it, right? Yes, it was a major, dramatic, life-changing event, but that's an example of the title, Wake Up to Die Again, right? It can either be a curse, so to speak, because you live in turmoil, or it can be a gift, depending on how you react to that. What answer you give life. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept that you can flip it either way, depending on how you respond.
That's correct. Well, and the reason I love that you said that, how you respond, because if you're a beginner, if you're anywhere in your fitness journey, whether you're a beginner, middle, seasoned, anywhere in that journey, you already know intuitively that it should never be about the event. It should always be about how you respond. Right? Mm-hmm. You went to a Tough Mudder. That's awesome. So you went. How did you respond? Did you finish? Doesn't matter if it took this long, that long. Did you finish? You know what I mean? I did finish. Okay, that's awesome, because you're going to learn some gifts from finishing that race, right? Did you do a 5K? I mean, it just applies to everything, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's all about, so I do a lot of big fitness preps, and I always say it's not about the race at the end of the day. It's not about crossing the finish line. It's about all the things I learned along the way, the prep, when you're doing the long, hard runs early in the morning when you don't want to do it. That's when you're really learning about yourself. And then the finish line just is the cherry on top of all that.
It is. Finish line is walking across the stage and getting your degree. That's what it is. Yeah, mm-hmm. One of the chapters I dedicate in the book is the year of training that I went through for my Ironman. And I talk about in there that yes, I became officially an Ironman when I crossed the finish line. Yes, that was official. But I didn't actually become an Ironman until, I didn't become an Ironman crossing the finish line. I became an Ironman through all the training that I did for 11 months, right? Mm-hmm. the early mornings, the late nights, the when my legs hurt, my back hurt, yeah, all that garbage. You know what I mean? The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's really what it changed my life. I mean, literally changed who I am as a human being doing an Ironman race.
And you don't even realize it when you're going through it. Like,
No, sir.
you don't even notice it. And then after you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I get it now. Listen, famous words right there, man. I get it now. That a lot. You can do a lot of things in life and say, I get it now. Even you said it earlier about starting out the podcast. In the beginning, you didn't have it, man, but now you got the cool background. you got the fitness beginner podcast sign.
Yeah, we've definitely upgraded as we've gone along.
But you get it now.
Yeah. So what Ironman did you do?
Arizona.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my full.
I would like to do that one. Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
I think they just ended that one. I'm pretty sure.
They did. Last year was the last year.
Yeah.
But I did my full there. I also did the half there. Next year, my full will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about
I've
doing
done
that
the
one.
half there.
Yeah, I thought about doing the one in Chattanooga.
You'll love it. It's a downriver swim.
Yeah. Whenever I get back to doing one, that'll probably be the one I do because it's closest to home. I know a friend that did it. It's pretty hilly though. The bike's pretty hilly.
The bike is, and the run.
That one's actually like 4 miles longer than the normal.
It is. Yeah, because of the bike. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that they made
it
it longer.
It ends up being the long of all of my understanding is from all the Ironman races in the world, Ironman Chattanooga is the longest bike in the world.
Mm-hmm. So you said you have one planned for next year. When is that?
It is in September. I think the end of September.
Okay. So yeah, you got a good while.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to need it because I've spent the last 6 months on a kind of a bare maintenance program with my fitness because of launching the book, finishing the book, final edits, publishing, marketing, podcasts, all that stuff life has really zapped my time to train for an Ironman. But those days are arriving. Training days have already arrived again, so that's great.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned you kind of got out of your kind of prep and then you're going to go back into it because that's how I operate a lot because I do different races. So I'm like in training mode and then I'm off training mode.
Yeah.
Right after.
Now, how long will you take off between, like when you do some off season? How long will you'll still do some maintenance stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or you just take off. Okay, so yeah.
No, I'm still working out and now I'm running, but just a lot less. Like the volume's way less. It just depends on when my next race is how long I take off. So, for example, I told you I did a few things, so I'll run through them real quick. 2023 was when I did my Ironman, and that kind of started this thing where I do one big event every year. Mm-hmm. So 2024, I did a bodybuilding show because so my background is more weightlifting. So I've been weightlifting for 12 years now. Next month will be like 13 years I've been doing that.
How many days in the gym?
Right now, I'm barely doing 2 or 3 because I'm in the middle of a prep right now. But used to, 5-6 days a week. Weightlifting is my like passion. That's what I really like to do. I didn't find endurance sports until 3 years ago, 2023, when I did the Ironman. It's when I found endurance sports.
Yeah.
So 24, did a bodybuilding show. I wasn't doing any cardio. Like completely quit running, biking, swimming. So I completely changed my training altogether. And then 2025, I decided to do a 100-mile ultra marathon.
Did you do one?
Mm-hmm. So I did that. I did that last April.
Which race did you do?
It was called the. It's a little local one around the Birmingham area.
Okay,
it
gotcha.
I forgot.
A lot of trails.
It was called the Chief Ladiga 100. So it's there's a trail in Alabama called the Chief. It actually goes into Georgia. So we ran. We started in Jacksonville.
So you went through Cheaha State Park, probably.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
We started in Jacksonville, Alabama. We ran all the way across the Georgia line into Georgia, like probably 20 miles or so, and then turned around and came back. So the trail changes at the Georgia line. It changes to a different name. I can't remember what the name is in Georgia, but it's the same trail. It's like an old railroad. It was pretty neat. It was a pretty cool trail.
How long did it take?
28 and a half hours.
No sleep? Nonstop?
No sleep. Yeah, it was cool. It was very tough, very hard.
Did
So
that
again,
change you?
oh yeah, that one was an experience.
But I
That one
mean,
was
but post experience in the weeks and months after that, did it change who you are as a person?
yeah. I definitely learned. Well, one I learned that I actually enjoy running. Like before, I would have told you like I'm not a runner. So this one kind of this is like after Ironman, I didn't care to run anymore.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
after this one, I was like, okay, yeah, I like running. As far as like a person, like I can't really give you exactly an example, but it definitely made me believe in myself more. Like I can do hard things because I struggled through that race very bad. Like I ended up walking like the last 20 miles of the race because I couldn't run anymore.
Yeah.
So just putting my mind to things and realizing I can do a lot more. My body can go a lot further than I think it
But you
can.
finished, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
finished.
Oh yeah, I was already like 70 something miles in by the time I was hurting, and I was like, I'm finishing this race. I'm this far. I'm not stopping now. So
That's a long
I
20
walked it.
miles, though, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it took me just as long to walk that 20 miles as it took me to run like the first 50 miles. So
Yeah.
it was it's very interesting. It was I hated it in the moment. I really did. I was like
Yeah.
not happy. I was grumpy, and I wanted it to be over with. But after I told my wife during the race, I said, "Don't ever let me do something stupid like this ever again."
That's the
I
best.
told her that, and then after the race, I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna do another one."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. When I finished, my wife and daughter were at the Ironman race, and I got to see them at several different places. And I didn't feel that way when I was doing mine. But when I did finish, my wife, within 30 minutes, certainly when we got back to the hotel room, she told me, "You're not doing another one." You know, and I didn't argue. I just smiled, and she's like, "I see that smile." You know what I mean?
yeah, my wife don't like it either. My wife's a nurse, so she's
Oh yeah.
super like worried about my health and
Oh,
stuff. And I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
so, but I didn't really get into the like the pain cave and the Iron Man. Like I don't remember. I was very well trained for the Iron Man. I
Okay.
came in like super conditioned, like I was ready. I did
Yeah.
a lot of training for that.
Yeah.
And I guess since you switch, so like you do a little bit of swimming, a little bit of biking, a little bit of running, so it wasn't as tough on my body. The running, the 100 miler, was a way. It took a lot more toll on my body, and it just destroyed my knee and my ankle. So I never really got the Ironman to me was hard because I got bored on the bike. I was on the
Yeah.
bike for over 6 hours. Man, it was brutal. I was
Yeah.
out there forever by myself, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This sucks." But I
Yeah.
never got to where I was like hurting,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
did in the ultra.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultra will humble you, your body, for sure. And I like to watch
Hmm.
David Goggins when he was doing his ultras.
Yeah, I've kind of felt I kind of like I like the endurance sports now because each sport has its own like little niche, little
That's
group of
right.
people. Like when I was doing Ironman, I was all in on like the Ironman people,
Have you
and then
have you seen the documentary? What is it called? The Barkley.
the Barkley marathons.
Yeah, where the first woman finished the race. I can't remember her name. Did you see that?
I didn't see the women when doing the Barkley marathons. I know what the Barkley marathons are though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Barkley with the old man that smokes, and that's how the race starts.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
Barkley. They do the Kong. He like blows the Kong or whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was very open about a woman cannot finish a Barkley race. He was
Hmm.
very open, not condescending. He was just like, it's never been done, and they just can't. And the year that a woman did it and almost won, they did a documentary about it. It's a fascinating. It's an awesome. Look it up, man. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I've watched a few documentaries of people running that one. I don't think I've seen the one with the woman doing it though.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
Yeah, the now that I've been doing in the ultra space, I've been watching a lot of like the ultra marathon people, so it's pretty inspiring. I don't know if you are you familiar with Cocodona
Oh,
250?
100%, man. Look, the
So,
reason I'm familiar with all of them because
mhm,
I want to do one, but I just can't get away from Ironman. I'm almost afraid to only run. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, I just like I found out that I like running way more than I like biking and swimming. So
Yeah,
I still like the triathlon. Like I've done a few local triathlons
yeah,
since then, but not the Ironman. That takes a whole another level of training and discipline. But yeah, the reason I asked you about the Cocodona was they just had it recently, and a lady from Birmingham won it, like
Oh my
overall first
goodness.
place.
Oh
Like
my
she beat
God.
all the men. She was
I'll
first
have to
place.
watch it. I'll have
It
to
was
watch
it was pretty cool. And she not only did she win, she destroyed them. Like wasn't even close. Like she beat them by hours. Like she whooped them, all of them.
Well, most people don't understand that an hour, the distance that you cover in an hour, in depending on where you are in an ultra, can be staggering. You know what I mean?
I want to say she did it in. I'm gonna look it up in 58 hours. I think was her time, and she smoked. Yeah, she did it 58 hours and 47 minutes. She set the course record.
Course record.
Yeah, that was insane. I need to figure out who won. Who was second place? The guy in second place. Oh no, my bad. She did it in 56 hours and 9 minutes. Second
Okay.
place was 57 hours and 28 minutes. So she beat him by
Okay.
over an hour.
Okay. That's some distance.
Yeah, and that she was moving. Like that's insane. I've never seen a woman win
One of
any
the
of those
most
races.
fascinating parts of ultra races is to see them come in and sit in those lawn chairs and watch their team, try to get them
Hmm.
ready in socks, and just how their physical condition is just,
Yeah.
you don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, it is pretty neat watching some of them come in and they have their whole crew. They all have have
They
their
have
own
a
little
task.
thing. Yep, it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I like watching the documentaries and stuff. You're probably familiar with Nick Bear, so I watched.
Oh, Nick's a machine.
Yeah, I watched his when I was doing my Ironman. I watched his Ironman series.
He
It's really
wasn't the
good
one
too.
that was carrying the rock up the hill, the big boulder for his training. That wasn't Nick, was it? No, what
No,
was
I
it?
doubt it.
Okay, maybe it'll come to me in a minute. But this guy and David Goggins were real good friends, and they were always competing against each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure about carrying a boulder, but I'm pretty sure. I know David Goggins. I know Cam Haynes is a big runner too. It
I
may have
think it
been
was
him.
Cam Haynes. I
It
think
may have
that's who
been.
it is. In his training, it is Cam. In his training, part of his training to strengthen his legs, he would carry this giant boulder, man, this rock on his shoulder, and walk up these hills in his backyard. And it was just, I mean, it was. I'm not talking about like a little 20-pound stone. I mean, this big round, and he would switch. Anyway, it was quite demanding.
Yeah, them dudes are freaks. I like following them though because they do some cool stuff. And Cam's like older now, and he's still running crazy races.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just ran one of the big ultras 200s with his son. His son's a freak. Have you seen his son?
No.
So his son is training right now to qualify for the Olympic marathon team.
Okay.
He's super fast and he runs in jeans. He does. He ran like below a 230. He ran like a 220 marathon in jeans.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's insane. Like stupid, stupid fit. But yeah, he's just, I don't know. They got some good genes in that family. That's all I know. But
Well, and he's not in his beginner shape. He's a master.
oh yeah. They're way beyond what most people can do. He's actually his son actually set the pull-up world record. He beat David Goggins' pull-up
Oh,
world
was that
world
okay?
record.
Now I know who you're talking about. I've seen him before, but I didn't know he was related to him.
Yeah, that's Cam Haynes' son.
I did
I
not know
think
that.
I think somebody has actually beaten his record since then, though. I don't think he
Okay.
still owns. I may be wrong, but I think somebody's beat it since then.
Yeah.
But it was something stupid like 12,000 pull-ups or something. Not
Yeah.
maybe not that many, but it was something stupid. It was like I
Just
think they
about
did it in
every
24
world
hours.
record number, as you look at it and you're like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody that like practiced that one thing. It was crazy. I'm trying to look it up. Who owns it now? 24-hour record is held by Enrique Zapata. I don't know, a Mexican
No, I
guy.
don't know.
He did
Yeah.
12,345 pull-ups in
And
24 hours. That's insane.
it's just insane, man.
Yeah, that don't even make sense. But
I'm not going to be chasing that dream.
oh no, I can't do that. That's crazy. Pull-ups are tough.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, so my goal for this year, well, not my goal. What I'm doing this year is I'm training for a backyard ultra. Are you familiar with those?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
What's the loop? How long's the loop? 1 mile?
it's 4.167. So
Okay,
it's
4.1. Okay.
it's like the traditional backyard ultra. So it's
Oh, I didn't know they were traditionally 4 point something.
yeah.
I
So
didn't-
the original one is 4.167, and the reason it's that long is because if you do that for 24 hours, that's exactly 100 miles.
Okay.
So that's why
Okay.
it's that number. It's
Okay.
24 meets. So one day is 100 miles.
Yeah, I didn't know that. The last race that I watched a documentary about, and I think this happened, I want to say it was last year, the last couple of years, the two guys uh, would not stop, and they eventually agreed to tie.
I
And I
don't know which
can't.
one you're talking about, but I've
It,
seen something like
it's
that.
it's it's one of the famous ones. There's a bunch of them out there, but it was one of the old school famous ones. I can't think about it, but two guys tied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they have like the big dog one or something. I think it's the name of it.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Uh, the BPN has a really good one too. They've had the past 2 years.
Okay.
The guy that won theirs this past year did like 300 or something miles. It's insane.
Where's yours at?
It's in Alabama. It's in
Okay.
Oak Mountain State Park. If you're familiar, near
No, I
Birmingham.
don't know where that is. Where is that?
It's outside of. It's like east of Birmingham.
Okay. Wow. That's okay. So then that can't be too far away from the Cheaha State Park there.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Cheaha is. It's in a state park. It's Oak Mountain State Park though, so I'm not
Okay.
sure where it is. So where that is related to that, but yeah,
Okay.
it's just outside of Birmingham. But yeah, I'm doing that August 29th, so just over a month away. So I'm right in the middle of my hard training right now. I ran 25 miles yesterday, so and then did 6 today.
Oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
I'm right in the thick of it.
By the way, here it is, the BPN G1M Ultra of 2025, which was in Texas.
Yeah, that was one last
Australia's
year.
That was last, yeah. So
Yeah.
Australia's Kendall Picado and Germany's Kim Gottwald famously decided to share the win after they both completed 56 laps or 235 miles.
Yeah, so that's the one I was talking about. That's the BPM one. The
Okay.
guy, that's the same one I'm talking about. The guys last year, well, they had a big storm come through. The weather came through, and they had to end it because it was like not safe to be out there.
I
So
gotcha. Okay. Okay.
yeah, and then this year they did it again. I think they did it like in April. Those two guys ran it again, and neither one of them won. A different guy won.
Okay.
A guy named Mark Dowdle won. They went like 300. He went over 300 miles.
It just keeps getting right when they say you can't do more, it just keeps getting more. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like the 4 minute mile. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
said they couldn't run it, and then like 2 weeks later, like 4 other people did it,
that's
or something
correct.
like that.
And that's in what is it, Bear Ranch, Texas?
Yeah, I think it's in Austin, Texas, or outside of Austin, Texas.
That's where our family's at. They're over in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, they got the fitness community in Austin is pretty big.
Yep.
I like to travel out there one day and experience it.
Yep.
But yeah, the backyard ultra is a very interesting style of race to me because to me it's more mental than it is physical. Because I don't know if you've probably never tried it, but like running and then stopping for 10 to 15 minutes and then doing the same loop over again and then stopping and then do it again
I had
and there's no end. There's no
Yeah,
end to the race.
I've had one experience with this, and right before my Ironman, my long run on Sunday, I had a 100-mile bike on Saturday, and then off the bike, I want to say it was like a 5-mile run, and then the next day was my long run, and it was I want to say it was 19 miles, and oh my God, I hurt from the day before. And she told me, my coach, she said, listen, I don't care if you have to break it up and do half in the morning and half after lunch. I really don't care. You just got to get 19 miles in, you know? And so the next morning I got up after breakfast. I went and did half. I went to the track actually and did half on the track. I didn't want to run on a hill. I just wanted to run on, so I did half, and then I came home, had lunch, and then went back up there. And I didn't know if I was going to make it the second half because my body had just, well, that's my only experience. I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't
Yeah,
imagine doing it at 100 miles.
yeah, it's a huge mental battle because not only are you stopping and going, but you're doing the same loop over and over again. And in your head, there is no finish line. Like, I'm not getting closer to the end. I'm
No,
just going until I say I'm gonna quit. Like until I
that's
quit.
it. It's like the Navy SEALs, man. When are you going to ring the bell?
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be challenging. I think this is gonna be probably. I don't know. If it's gonna be the hardest one I've done yet. I think the 100 would be harder just because I don't think I'll make it 100 miles. I mean, that's my goal. My goal is 100.
How many
I,
people are listed for the race?
right now, there's only 21 people, so it's a very small race. It's not like a big
Yeah,
famous one.
most
Yeah,
ultras are.
yeah. especially in Alabama. There's not a lot of people that do them here, so all the ultras are pretty small. Like when I did my 100 last year, I think there was only 50 people in the whole race, so it's not like the big ones you see online.
How many people in the early stages of your 100 you saw people, right? What point did you get in your 100-mile race where you was just you?
Actually, pretty early on. You'd be
Okay.
surprised, yeah, because we didn't do any loops or anything. It was literally out and back. So you did catch a lot of people on the way back. I would say probably 20 miles in or so. I was probably not even that far. I was by myself, like for
Wow.
so. But I mean, you would always have people come up and pass you, or you would come up and pass other people.
I got you.
Like, you would see people every now and then, but for the most, like I was by myself for the whole
And,
time.
and you didn't have to worry about getting lost?
No, the way this one was laid out, it was on a trail like the whole way. So you pretty much there's probably one or two little cities you had to run through, but
Okay.
it was pretty straightforward. I did on the way back in the middle of the night. I was on the way back. I got lost on one point coming back to the little city. There was two little ways and it was dark. It was in the middle of the night, so like I didn't remember what way I came. So I got lost a little bit. But luckily, I got back on track. I had my phone with me, so I used my
Yeah.
GPS to get me right back on. So I
I
didn't
was
get
gonna
too
say
far off.
everything looks different when you're coming back the way you came.
Yeah,
Everything.
and it was dark. It was daylight when I came through.
What was the
When you-
temperature at night?
So that's a good question actually, because it was hot during the day, smoking
Yeah.
hot. At night it got freezing, absolutely freezing. And
Did you have the gear for it?
yeah, I had pants and a jacket, but I wish I'd have brought more. Like I didn't realize it was gonna get that cold because like I was still in Alabama, like it don't get that cold here.
Yeah.
So, but it got freezing, and I remember this one area specifically. I was already pretty cold, but in this one area, my mom, I actually got her to start pacing me because I was just walking at this point. And we come up on this aid station, and it was weird the way it was. It was kind of like, I guess it was kind of down like in a valley. It was where like water came through. So when you got close to this area, the temperature dropped
And it
drastically.
got really damp. The air was
Got,
damp.
yeah, the temperature dropped. Like you could like feel it. I got really cold and I started shivering, and I thought I was gonna be done with the race because once I started shivering, I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna like come out of this." So luckily they had like a little fire at this aid station. So I sat by the fire for like probably 25 minutes, and I never stopped shivering. I was still freezing the whole time, and I was like, "This ain't good. I don't know how I'm gonna keep going." And I finally said, "Screw it. Like I'm going. I'm gonna get up, get going." And I just started walking, and eventually, I guess all that walking like heated my body back up because eventually I quit shivering,
Yeah.
and I
When
got
I
through it.
finished my Ironman race, I took a hot shower and I just stood in there because that water felt good, and I finally got out of the shower and between drying off, just literally drying off and putting a pair of shorts on and walking to the hotel bed, my body temperature started dropping and I just couldn't get warm. And so I had every blanket and everything piled on top of me and I was just shaking because I couldn't get warm. It was
Yeah.
just weird what your body does after a race like that.
Yeah, it was almost. I got scared a little bit when that happened to me. I was like, "Man, I don't want this to pull me out because like I don't.
Oh
I
yeah.
wanted to finish." It was in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. It was probably 2 a.m. in the morning, and I just started shivering. I was like, "I don't know what to do. We're just gonna go. We're gonna wing it." And luckily, it worked out for me. So I
You
got
know
through
what
it.
you just said, and you didn't even know it. When you said we're just gonna go, you just said make it happen. We're just gonna make it happen.
Yeah, at that point, I was so far in the race, I didn't want to quit, and I really
Yeah.
got worried. I was like, I didn't want to get like hypothermia or something because that's what I was worried about because I was like shivering, and I was sitting by a fire, like literally right next to a fire, trying to warm up, and could not warm up.
You think,
But
looking back, did any of it have to do with your calorie intake?
that's a good question. I felt like I ate a lot. I felt like I fueled myself pretty good. Um, I think the shivering was strictly due to the cold. I don't necessarily think
Okay.
it was due to
You were just
my.
underdressed, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think because I never got like lightheaded or like I never
Okay.
felt like I was dehydrated. Nothing like that. I think I did pretty well on my fluids and on my fuel, like eating. I think I did pretty good. I think it was just the temperature just dropped. And it was in that one little area. Like as we come up on that aid station, it got really cold right there in that one area. And I think finally once we got out of that area,
Yeah.
it started to warm back up. And I guess it was because like it was like there was like a stream that ran through there. You know how it's kind of colder around water normally.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I think that's what it had, what it was. So once we
Now
got
I'm
away
curious,
from
at
it,
what point did you start getting a little giddy inside because you knew you were going to cross the finish line?
that's a good question. I don't know at what point, but I'd already like at the point that I started walking, I was still way out, but I'd already decided like I'm finishing. I'm crossing. Now at the point to where it finally hit me, like, hey, I'm actually going to do this. I can't. I don't know if it was a certain point.
Do
It's
you,
like
do
I
you
was
even
turning.
remember when you were like 5 miles out, 4 miles out, 3 miles, single digits? Do you remember the
Yeah,
single digits?
yeah. I remember there was an aid station about 3 miles out, and I was hurting so bad. I sat at that last aid station for a while just to go
Did
three
you really?
miles. Yeah, I had to. I made sure to eat a lot, and I literally just walked out. But I knew at that. I definitely at that point I knew I was finishing.
And there was no way you could have run, even run walk at that point.
Well, looking back at it, yeah, I could have, but in that moment, I didn't think I could. Like
Yeah.
I was telling my crew, I was like, I cannot run, but I'm gonna finish. Like I'm gonna do it. But yeah, now looking at it, I probably could have. And I even felt so bad that I didn't even run across the finish line. I walked across the finish line. Yeah, and now looking back at it, like I really wish I would have ran across the finish line. Like that really bothers me now.
Yeah.
But at that time, like I didn't care. I did
See,
not care. I
I
was like,
was injured.
I'm gonna
I
get
was
across
injured
it.
in my marathon in my Ironman. I was injured, and the last I forgot how many miles it was. Is last it's like 7, 8, 9 miles, or I can't remember. I had to run walk, and but the farther I went, there was less running and more walking, and there was a turn, a final left turn you had to make, and it was about, man, 300, 400 yards to the finish line, and it was lit up like the sun. And the band was there, the music was playing, and Mike Riley screaming, people's name. You're an Iron Man. I could hear it, and you could see all the red banners. Anyway, I just said to myself out loud, I'll never forget. I said, I was talking to my knee. I was like, you're going to have to shut up for just a minute because I'm running to the finish line. And it was an ugly run, but I
Yeah.
jogged, I jogged down the finish line to finish.
Oh yeah. I looking back at it, I definitely wish I would have, but I was in so much pain at that point, I didn't even care. I just said, screw it, I'm going across the finish line.
Listen,
I
it
literally
doesn't.
walked the whole
It,
way.
like I said, it doesn't matter, man. You finished. That's a
Yeah.
great story. I'm glad you shared that because that's one of my bucket list things is to do an ultra.
Yeah, it was tough. And I probably did it the wrong way. I jumped straight to the 100 miler, which probably not the best idea to do. You probably should start with, a
I wanted to
50K.
start with a 50K,
Yeah, 50K, and then go probably a 50 miler.
50 miler. Yep.
And if you wanted to, 100K. But I'm kind of like go big or go home. Like
Yep.
that's why I
I
jumped.
love it.
That's why I did Ironman. Like I didn't start with Ironman. I actually did a. So what got me into it is a friend of mine that I was working with at the time. He had did a local one in my local area the year before. So this year we were working together. We were working. He was like, "Hey, I'm going to do this local triathlon." He knew I worked out and stuff. He's like, "You should do it with me. You should give it a try." And I was like, "Dude, I can't. There's no way I could swim that far. What do you mean? I can't swim."
2.4 miles.
I had never. No, not an Ironman. It was a
Oh, I
local
got you.
sprint. It was a sprint.
Oh, sprint. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, "I did the local sprint. You should do it with me." He's like, "You're pretty athletic. You could probably do it." I was like, "Triathlon? I never even thought about doing something like that before. It never even crossed my mind because at this point I was just working out. I was lifting weights. I was like, he talked me into it. I was like, all right, I'll sign up to do it. So I signed up. Sure enough, guess what he does? He's like, I ain't doing it no more. I ain't gonna do it. And I was like, what? So I was already signed up. I'd already started training. So like, all right, I'm doing it now. So I did it by myself, just a sprint. And literally like a week later after I did the sprint, I signed up to do the Ironman.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, I'm doing it. I'm going all in. But in
Yep.
in in that time of training though, I did another sprint while I was training, and I did an Olympic one while I was
Okay.
training. So I did
You'll,
kind of work my way up for the Ironman.
you'll find this story funny. In Ironman Augusta, the half, 70.3, I was walking through the parking garage, and this guy was, getting his bike out. Beautiful bike. He was getting his bike out, and he was just, you could just tell he was like panic rushing to get to registration. He had plenty of time. He just didn't know it. I said, hey, man, you need some help? He's like, yeah, I'm going to be late. All this. I said, no, relax. You got till 6 o'clock at night. You're fine. And so I said, let me walk you over there. And I'm going that way. So we gather up his stuff. I help him carry his gear. So we get to talking. Finally, I said, you by yourself? He said, yeah, I'm down here by myself. I said, well, do you have a coach? Or he goes, nope, don't have a coach. I said, so you train for a half Ironman by yourself with no coach? He said, yeah. I said, do you mind if I ask what inspired you to do this? And he looks at me and he just pauses, like, am I going to tell this guy the truth? You know? And so I listened, and he goes, I'll tell you. He goes, I was at a party with my wife, and there were some guys talking about doing half Ironmans. And I made a comment, that sounds interesting. And he said, my wife looked at me and said, you can't do that.
So he
He
signed
said,
up to
here
do
I
it.
am. Here I am.
Hmm.
Yep. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, and so, that was his motivation. It had nothing to do with weight. He was told by somebody he loved, he said, you can't do that. And that flipped the switch.
Yeah, it's interesting, like how a man's brain works sometimes, because not everybody's like that, but a lot of people do operate like that. Like if you say you can't
100%.
do something, you say, "Watch me," and
There's a,
then make it happen.
yep, there's a part of that inside me for sure.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way when it came to my 100. I didn't honestly, I didn't think I could do it. Like I didn't. I was like, I don't think I can do this, but I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna figure it out. So that's why I was like, you know what? Because I thought about signing up for a 50 miler first, and I was like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm just gonna do
Going
it.
all
I'm
in.
gonna do it, and I'm gonna figure it out as I go. So
I'm curious, two questions. What was your longest training run, and what kind of running volume per week were you doing?
yeah, so my longest training run was 30 miles,
Okay.
and at the time that was the furthest I'd ever ran.
Okay.
So I had ran the furthest ever ran was the marathon in my Ironman up until that point when I ran 30 miles. So I
And there was
did.
a training program that said 30 miles is really, that's all you need to do, or that was what you decided to do?
That is what I had made my own training plan. So I
Okay.
kind of used Chat GPT. I looked up some
Yep.
I done some research online and looked at
Yeah.
other training plans, and I kind of finagled one myself.
Yep.
So that's what I come up with.
And then your running volume, your maximum running volume per week, what was it?
Yeah, so my running volume changed every week. Obviously, it built up
Yeah.
slowly over time.
Yeah.
I can't remember what my maximum week was. It was definitely over 60. It
Was it?
wasn't
Okay.
as Yeah, it was definitely over 60. I want to say probably maybe 75-ish, 80.
Yeah.
It was lower than what a lot of like ultra people do. Like a lot of the people that do them ultras, they'll do 100-mile weeks easy.
Okay. I
And
didn't
they'll
know that.
yeah, like the real like ultra runner, like the ones that really run it. Like I was just trying to finish. I wasn't trying to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
it. Some
Yeah.
people like the actual like dudes that are really running it, they're doing 100-mile weeks easy. Like
Wow.
several of them. This for my backyard ultra, my peak week will be like 80 miles. But I'm actually
Okay.
thinking about toning that back a little bit because I don't think it's going to be too beneficial for me to do that much. Because
And how much time do you have from the time you finish, the first person finishes or crosses the line? That's when the clock starts, right?
no, so the way for the backyard ultra,
Yeah. Is it when the last, yeah, I can't
no,
remember the
it's
times.
it's based off time. It's based off the hour. So the way it works is you do a 4.167. I say 4.2. You do a 4.2 mile loop every hour on the hour. So it starts at the top of the hour and it ends at the end of
I'm
the
with you.
hour.
So the downside is the sooner you finish, you get a longer break. Uh, but did you gas yourself? Is it better to come in with
Hmm.
5 minutes to spare or 10? That's the gamble, right?
That's what makes it hard because nobody really knows. You have to figure it out yourself. So there's different people have different strategies. So it's like you said, the faster you run, the more break you have. The slower the run, the more kind of energy you save, but then the less time you have to rest. I think a lot of people kind of make like a happy medium. So like a lot of people will go around that like 48 to like 52 mile time. Like they'll come in at that time. So then they have 8 to 12 minutes to rest. So it just
Which
depends.
is
And what
pretty
I've
good, which is a long time.
Yeah, it is. And what I've actually found is in my training, I've been doing a few like simulations. I've actually found that the more I rest, the kind of worse it is because I stiffen up. If I come in
Yeah.
and I sit down for 15 minutes, when I get back up and go, it's hard for me to get going again. I kind of
Yeah.
stiffen up. So I
I
gotta
feel
I
the
gotta
same
figure
way.
out yeah I gotta figure out the best kind of strategy of doing that. Coming in, I think I'm gonna incorporate some more walking into my loops because I just been running it. So this past Saturday I did 6 loops and I incorporated some more walking to make my time a little bit longer. So I had less time to relax. I didn't stiffen up as much. So I'm still playing around with my time to kind of figure out what I
You
like
don't
the
have any
best.
hills down there in Mobile.
No, there's not. It's not really any hills down here. Actually, by my house, I actually have a few hills, but I don't have a lot of places to run. So I actually don't run in my house. I go to a different neighborhood where my mom lives at. But
Yeah.
it's flat there, super flat. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. The hill the hills, because there's 500 feet of elevation gain and loss in every loop. So in 4 miles, there's five. So that's a lot. So it's 500 up,
I
500
know
down
I had to visualize it real
every
quick. I
loop.
was like, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, if you only had to do it once, yeah, that's not bad. But every loop, so like, say you
Yeah.
did 10 loops, that's what,
Yeah.
5,000 feet of gain. So that's a lot.
Excuse me, that park I was telling you about in Alabama is not too far from you. It's called Chiaha State Park, and it's the highest. It has the highest mountain in the state of Alabama. Beautiful
Yeah,
lookout
is
point
that where
there.
they have Bald Rock, the Bald Rock uh,
It
mountain?
may be because you can't see it. I actually have a picture of myself sitting on this bald rock that's exposed on top of the mountain. It's a beautiful view. You can actually
Yeah,
see Pell City and the racetrack.
I think that's it. I think it's called. I think the top of that is called like Bald Rock or something
It
like
might
that.
be,
I
and
can't
but
remember.
there's a lot of people that run those trails up there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any kind of cool trail runs. Yeah, that's it. Bald Rock is in Chiaha State Park. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. Okay,
Yeah, I hadn't actually been there myself. I've seen a lot of pictures and stuff there.
that's beautiful up there.
Yeah. So, you have any good like failure stories that kind of shaped your success? Like you eventually got a success out of it.
Man, I have a lot of those, and I write about. That's funny. Again, that's literally people that have already started reading my book are giving me that feedback. Is I talk a lot about failure in the book, but you don't leave reading the book thinking that Scott failed. I ultimately win because I refuse to stay down, right? And so yeah, there. I'm trying to think of what's a short one. Well, let's just use Ironman training as an example. You know, I had my own levels of adversity in Ironman training because I wasn't taking care of myself, and so I'll talk about those failures. One is strength training. I avoided strength training and put all of my effort into swim, bike, run. And I knew better, but I thought, oh, I'll be fine. It's swim, bike, run. I'm not only running, I'm not only swimming, I'm not only biking. But I wasn't taking into account the toll, the cumulative toll that the fitness level was taking on my body. And so what ended up happening is because I wasn't incorporating strength into my workouts as my body started breaking down. Weird places, right? My hip would start bothering me, my tendons, my joints, my whatever, right? And a lot of it had to do with my core strength or my back strength, staying in aero position. Fast forward past that when I started incorporating strength, then I got away from doing stretching, yoga, right? And your body just tightens up. Your body needs that. If you're going to do endurance sports, I don't know how much you're doing that. If I could whisper in your ear, man, this time around, if you didn't do it, flexibility keeps your body willing to go forward because your muscles are used to being flexible, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so so I went from I was doing great training to strength caused me to crash. And then I started incorporating, I had to recover and doing strength workouts. And then I wasn't building, as my volume was building, I wasn't doing enough stretching and I collapsed again. And then I got healthy again. And then I started riding my bike. I had a wreck and ended up getting 12 stitches in my elbow and broke my bike in half and wasn't even sure I was going to make it to the race because nobody had any bikes in my size. So that's just a few stories along the way in my Ironman journey where the answer of, or the question to me kind of is, do you just quit? Do you just not go to the race? I had to answer that question a lot during my Ironman training. It was not all fun and games. I had a lot of struggles during my Ironman training. And I like sharing that with the audience, especially if there are people that are in the beginning phases of their fitness, or maybe they're past the beginning phase and moving, closer to the middle or medium, if you will, is, I'm not going to tell you anything you haven't heard or read, but it's really important, which is take care of yourself. You're the only self you have,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's stretching, take the time to do that. If you're not eating right, you don't have to eat perfectly, but actively work on doing that better. I like to use the analogy of lily pads. Right, the race is not the race is we got to cross the lake, cross the bridge, right, whatever it is, but take it in little bite-sized pieces. What can you do today? And that's something I focus on. That's my takeaway, that I focus on. This is how my training works now. I rarely think about tomorrow or the training on Wednesday or Thursday. I rarely ever think about it. I'm only thinking about the training I'm involved in today. And I focus on that today. I try to be optimized. I try to be efficient. I try to make sure that it's a really good workout so I can get, I can have a big green check mark in the box. I finished the workout, all those things just today. And that's made my life, honestly, a lot simpler and a lot easier. In all of these little peaks and valleys, that was my big takeaway for me is don't worry about tomorrow. I don't give a crap about yesterday. I can't change it. Just focus on optimizing the day. And that's been a gift. And I hope that helps other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing a fitness prep there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot. Every one that I've done, I've experienced physical ups and downs, mental ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's always a period of time when you get like in the middle of your training where you're just going hard. You're in a routine, like you wake up and do it, you get it done, but like it's just mentally draining. Like you're just like, man, I gotta do 10
Here we
miles
go
today.
again. The clock didn't stop. Yeah.
And you start to question yourself. You're like, why am I even doing this? Like, do I really want to do this? And you always go through that phase every time. It never
Every
fails.
time.
Always go through it. And luckily, I decided to keep going. Luckily, and it pays off in the end if you can push through it. But I know a lot of people, they get to that point and they do give in, they do quit, they do stop, and that does happen to a lot of people,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
and I don't have to tell you this, but for the listeners that don't know this, that is actually where the greatest training comes from. Is the times you question yourself of do I really want to do this, and you choose to keep doing it. That's where you're actually growing. That's where you're
Hmm.
actually gaining. That's why I say the Iron Man changed me as a human being, is because all these ups and downs, and I just kept reaffirming, I really don't care how you feel, or maybe I do care, maybe I don't. All that wishy-washy garbage, but here we are. I'm on the other side of that finish line multiple times now. You know. And that's the gift you give yourself. And that's what it's a gift that you give yourself. Just don't turn around.
Yeah, you'll be so proud of yourself at the end. Like it's so rewarding. People ask me all the time why I do like endurance stuff like this because normal people don't get it. Like they're like, you biked 112 miles. Like
Yeah,
why would you do that? I'm like,
yeah.
you just don't get it. Like you would have to do it, and then you'd be like, okay, I get it. Like you would understand. And that's I never have an answer for people. I never would know what to tell people. Like, why do you do that? I'm like, I really don't know.
I
I
just tell
enjoy it.
people it makes me happy. That's why I do it.
Yeah, I'm like I can you would have to cross the finish line to understand why I do it. Once you
Yeah,
cross it, then you'll get. I won't have to explain it to you. You'll just understand. And
yeah.
it's so hard. Like I wish I could put that into words to explain it to people, but it's can't.
I
It's
have,
one of those things you have to do it yourself to
yeah,
understand it.
I have written stories about it. Literally, none of it comes close to capturing it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like I don't know. There's something about like suffering when you come through the other side of suffering. It's
I'm glad you said
it's
that.
so rewarding.
That's
Yeah,
what it is. It's wake up to die again.
yeah. Another cool thing that I like to, not cool thing, but another tip I like to give people is do it with somebody. Like suffer with
Yeah,
somebody. That makes it a lot easier and a lot more rewarding. And then it also builds like a bond with that person.
yeah.
And that's the cool thing about Ironman is there's such a community around it. Like everybody in Ironman, you're not really competing against each other. Like
Nope,
you're not racing against each other.
nope.
You're racing against yourself.
That's
So
it.
everybody there is supporting you, and they want you to finish. Like they want you to win,
They
which
do.
is
And
different than most sports.
that's why. So this year, since I'm not going to be able to do an Ironman race this year, I volunteered for Ironman Chattanooga this year,
Hmm.
and I volunteered early enough that I was able to select the finish line, handing out the medals.
Oh, okay, that's
And
cool.
I took the last shift, which ends at midnight when the race is over, right? Because to me,
Hmm.
I don't. No offense, I don't really care to see. I don't care who won. I
Hmm.
want to see the people that finish between 7 o'clock at night and midnight. That's the people I want to see.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. You'll definitely see some first timers. You'll see
Yep,
some emotions for
yep,
sure.
yep.
That's
So
gonna
I
be.
volunteer. That's where my and of course the nice thing is if you volunteer, then they give you a discount off your race the following year.
Yeah, you definitely need that discount because they're
For an
expensive.
Ironman race, I'm not cheap, man.
Yeah, they're expensive. I wish we had one in Alabama that was kind of local. I could go to, but all of them are pretty a good drive away. So
Yeah. Well, you've got 3 Florida races. You got, but they're still a drive.
Yeah, Panama City is definitely the closest one. That's why I did that one. But
Yeah, Haines City, right? Well,
uh,
Panama City, you
no,
said.
it's in Panama
Haines
City.
City is,
Haines
I think
City's the
Haines City is a
half.
full arm. Is that a half? Okay.
It's the half. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it was in a different place and they moved it. It was in some other place. But yeah, that's the half one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Panama City. That one's like it's in Panama City, like right at like Pier Park, like the main part
Okay.
of Panama City. Yeah, where they have that big pier and stuff out there. It's right there, like the finish line's right in front of it. It's pretty
Wow.
cool. It's a good race. I recommend that one.
What month is it in?
November.
Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect timing because it's just like when it starts to get a little cold. So like it was cold in the morning time, and then
Yeah.
by the time I got on the bike, it was still a little cold when I got on the bike and the wind was blowing. But
Yeah.
by the time I got about 10, 20 miles in the bike, it felt great. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't 100 degrees,
Yeah.
but it wasn't cold. Like it
Yeah.
felt good. Like Florida in November, December is perfect weather. Like
Yeah,
not too
that's true.
cold, and it's not smoking hot. And it did get hot though. Like during the day on the bike, it got pretty hot,
Yeah.
but it wasn't 100 degrees hot. So
Yeah.
it's
That's a different kind of
plus.
hot down there.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But yeah, I don't want to keep you too much of your time. I know it's getting late. I would like to give you a chance to tell everybody where they can get your book, where they can find
Yeah.
if you have social medias or a website or anything like that. Please let everybody know.
No, I appreciate that. And I've enjoyed talking about this fitness journey, and I've learned a few things from you on the ultras, and because it's on my bucket list. That's why I was asking specific questions.
I
But
recommend doing one.
yeah, yeah.
It's a good
Oh,
experience. It's gonna hurt. I'll tell you right now, you're gonna be in some pain. It's gonna hurt, but it'll be worth it.
it will definitely be worth it. It will definitely be worth it. But no, I appreciate it. And yeah, the book, Amazon.com is the easiest place to find it. Wake Up to Die Again. And would encourage people to check that out. You won't be disappointed, I'll tell you that. And especially if you're in your beginning phases or advanced phases, either or, of your workouts. It's a powerful book. And my website's an easy one. It's my name, scottlackey.com. So Wake Up to Die Again on Amazon or scottlackey.com. And I hope everybody will check it out. And I appreciate you letting me do that. Thank you very much, Murphy.
Awesome. Thank you for joining the podcast. I enjoyed it. I always love to get to talk about fitness. This is one of my passions, so I can sit here and talk all night.
I know, I can tell, and you're good at it.
All right. Thank y'all. Y'all be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Y'all have a great day.